Generating and hacking in Pokemon, really touchy, sensitive, controversial topic here on YouTube. And with Pokemon Sun and Moon right around the corner, implementing a bunch of changes into the metagame and the competitive scene, I wanted to chime in with my thoughts. Real quick though, this video is sponsored by the brand new Pokemon Sun and Moon Amino app on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store on Android. It's going to be the perfect place to discuss all the brand new discoveries in Pokemon Sun and Moon, discuss movesets for Pokemon, how to find every single important item in Pokemon Sun and Moon, where to find your favourite Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. In the app, there's private and in-group messaging for you to contact all your friends and favourite content creators. It's the perfect app to meet like-minded Pokemon fans and just have people to talk to about our favourite game. Links in the description down below to where you can get your free download depending on which device you're using. Anyway, I'll stop selling up. Back to the topic in hand. So if any of you guys have spent any significant amount of time here on the Pokemon side of YouTube, you'd know that Pokemon Wi-Fi battling and competitive battling is swarmed by this massive controversy. That controversy is how competitive battlers obtain their Pokemon that they use for competitive battling. Playing Pokemon competitively isn't like playing, say, Call of Duty competitively. You're not just given the weapons you need to be able to succeed. You need to build them yourself. And because up until Generation 6, obtaining competitively viable Pokemon was so difficult, I say difficult, it was literally nigh on impossible to actually obtain Pokemon with perfect IVs prior to Generation 6. People had to resort to generating their Pokemon by using third-party software. Using this software is incredibly easy to craft Pokemon with perfect IVs, the perfect movesets. You wouldn't have to worry about egg moves, you could just put them onto the Pokemon. So hacking in Pokemon games, nothing new. Generation 6 and the release of Pokemon X and Y introduced various different mechanics that made it a heck of a lot easier to breed your Pokemon. They introduced the Destiny Knot, which would carry over 5 IVs from the parents. Why was that important? Well, the inclusion of the Friend Safari made it incredibly easy to obtain and capture Pokemon with perfect IVs, making it super easy to breed the IVs from the parents down to the children. While it wasn't new in Generation 6, the Everstone allowed you to carry over the nature of one of the parents over to the child. And overall, the inclusion of all these brand new mechanics in Generation 6 actually made it possible, actually made it viable to be able to obtain competitively capable Pokemon. And for the longest time, the architecture of the Nintendo 3DS wasn't actually able to be accessed. You weren't able to directly manipulate the code within games. You weren't able to edit save files, stuff like that, making it impossible to generate Pokemon. However, a few years go by, the Nintendo 3DS's inner system is figured out, everything's hacked. We are now able to generate Pokemon and have been able to for a good couple of years at this point. And there's almost this moral grey area in the competitive Pokemon battling scene about whether or not hacking and generating in your own Pokemon is actually morally acceptable. So just to make sure you guys aren't getting a biased kind of view from me, I'll tell you my thoughts on how I play Pokemon games. Every single Pokemon on my cartridge 100% legitimately obtained by myself. I don't generate my own Pokemon. Every single competitively viable Pokemon was bred by me. That's just how I have fun in Pokemon games. I really like the reward in actually obtaining things myself. And cheating and generating things that aren't within the boundaries of the game, actually using third-party software to obtain things within games, it's objectively cheating. But whether or not it's cheating, that's not the question that the Pokemon community are asking. The question people are asking are, is it wrong? So of course, generating things from outside the game's boundaries using third-party software, yes, that's objectively against the code of law of the game. But then again, so is making third-party modifications to your Nintendo 3DS system. Making every single YouTuber that you watch that produces gameplay videos here on this website, it makes it so they're technically breaking the law of the game. Like seriously, if the Pokemon Company wanted to, they could ban us all from every single event. They've got all the evidence they need. All the evidence is here on this website with the various Nintendo 3DS gameplay videos that we've all put up. So every single YouTuber that you watch, we're breaking the rules of the game. But the reason they don't take action on that is because it's not beneficial for them. It's beneficial to allow us to make videos here on YouTube because it promotes the game. It creates a community around the game. So I'll go back to that question that I posed earlier on in the video. Is cheating in Pokemon morally incorrect? Of course, it's not ideal. I think in a perfect world, the Pokemon Company would want every single Pokemon on every single cartridge to be legitimately obtained, and every single Pokemon competing in competitions and national tournaments, they'd want them all to be legitimate. But is it morally incorrect? I don't think it is at this point. Now, don't get me wrong, it's objectively kind of against the spirit of the game, but I'm not going to think down on someone just because of their methods on how they obtain their Pokemon that they use for competitive battling. At the end of the day, these competitions, these tournaments, they're not based on how you obtain your Pokemon. They're based on how you use them in battle. All that matters is that 4-on-4 battle that you have, and as long as every single Pokemon has legal stats and legal moves within the boundaries of the game, the Pokemon Company recognize that you're not trying to get a malicious competitive advantage on your opponents, and they let it be. These tournaments, it's not about how you obtain your Pokemon, it's about how you use them in battle. Of course, as I've said, it's not ideal, and the Pokemon Company and Game Freak really are trying to take steps towards making breeding and obtaining competitively viable Pokemon a heck of a lot more easier in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Hyper training, allowing us to use bottle caps to get our Pokemon perfect IVs. Absolutely massive step, means we don't have to spend hours breeding for Pokemon. All we need to do is get Pokemon with the correct nature and we're set. If they give us the added possibility of allowing us to, say, have a 30 speed IV, it would make it so we don't have to breed at all. We'd be able to easily manipulate and access the hidden power values that we want. That would be perfect. The implementation of super training in Pokemon X and Y, allowing us to check our EV values and EV train, while in a slower way, it's a really nice passive way to do it. Allowing us to share teams on the battle spot in Pokemon Sun and Moon, that's massive. It means we can use our friends' teams and experiment in a way that wasn't possible before. The Festival Plaza and all that kind of stuff, they really are taking steps at trying to attempt to make Pokemon Sun and Moon the easiest competitively accessible Pokemon game in existence. And all the controversy here in the Pokemon community surrounding competitive battling and the way that people access Pokemon, it's just unneeded. Pokemon is a game based on the values of friendship and making friends, and we all share this common interest, which is Pokemon. And instead of fighting about these honestly really nonsensical issues, I mean, who outside really cares about how you obtain your Pokemon? That's my thoughts on the topic though. Leave me a comment down below what you think about hacking and generating in Pokemon. Let's have a rational discussion in the comment section down below. Please don't swear at me. 1,000 likes on this video would be absolutely freaking wonderful for another Pokemon Sun and Moon related video tomorrow. Feel free to subscribe to listen to more of my future Pokemon Sun and Moon news videos. Follow me on Twitter as well. Links in the description down below. I've been using that a ton recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was something just a little bit different today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.